Hello there. This is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Every woman has her own preference. And I need to, I need to because, and I talked about this on Monday, how guys, you got whole channels with guys checking out another man's looks and stuff and thinking, and they, to the point, they'll try to say, well, they'll say, well, you can't, they'll look at somebody and say, well, you ain't getting no women. Shoot. They'll even try to rate the man. Yeah, it's like a man, like I ain't gonna say which video it was, but I saw something in the comments and, some guy was complaining because somebody on some panel rated him a 6, right? And, first of all, I'm like, well, one, why are you listening to a man who is supposedly heterosexual, who don't have a vagina, rate you anyway? And then why is that saying the man doing the rating another man? You don't have a vagina. See, and you got to understand something. Well, first of all, let me go off on a tangent that's related to all of this. When women rate men among themselves, they don't be like, oh, he's a 2 or he's a 10 or something. That's a man thing. And if women do it in a man's presence, it's only to communicate with a man. Understand something. Women have their own way of communicating. So specifically, when they looking at men, they use adjectives. Shout out Nicole Michelle. She talked about, women will look at a man and say he sexy fine, or he husband cute, or he ugly, right? And that's how they looking at him, or he's attractive. They use adjectives, right? They use adjectives. But the key thing is, however they do it, it's the woman's choice. She decides. Now, how often, seriously, that's why I say go out there. How often have a woman, you've known a woman, and she be with a guy, and everybody calling that guy ugly? I mean, it's bad enough the men calling that guy ugly, but then her friends are calling that guy ugly. And she'll be like, she cool with him, he fine to her. In fact, I've known several women, they'll have a picture of some guy they going crazy over, like, he's gorgeous, he's all of that. And, you'd be thinking, he look regular. He look like everybody else. But she like the most finest guy she's ever seen. That's because they all had their preferences. Now, let me get deep. People know me for talking about the imprint. That imprint, first starts with the DNA. What's in her DNA? And her DNA is going to be based on the males in her side, in her bloodline. That's the first thing. And then what her father looked like. That's why a lot of times, if you get some dudes, they might have been thugs as younger or players, everything, they grow out of all of that and want their daughters to bring home some good guy, but that guy is just like their father was when they were kids, right? So, that's the thing. And then, whatever their imprint, their actual physical imprint is, what did the first 3 guys who had sex with her look like? What was their behavior? And despite what a lot of guys think, it all wasn't that square-jawed, tall, 6'2", square-jawed person. And even some people even throw race in there and say, oh, yeah, he must be, he got to be like 6'2" and tall and white. I'm like, man, that's some dumb-ass shit. That don't have nothing to do with it. Well, their imprint might not have been that. Her imprint could have been some 5'7" stocky dude and shit, with a round face. Or it could have been some slim dude or something, Because part of the thing, too, not just the imprint, right? But part of the thing, too, is a guy who turns her out. Now, that's the only way, if you're not the imprint, you can get that woman. You just got to turn her out. And she might, she could have been getting with slim dudes all her life, but she come across that big old dude who got her screaming, got her hollering and stuff, got her saying her ABCs in French, and she don't speak French. Got her speaking in tongues. Shout out cousin T-Tall. He used this term. She could have got with somebody and got the ASP Holy Ghost. She going crazy. She got that good D. That affects her preferences. And every woman got one. Every woman got one. But see, a guy can't really say what it is. And the most a guy can say is what he's seen. What he's seen. And even then, if he paid real close attention, all the guys didn't look alike. They might have had some commonality. Like the only commonality that I seen was a fit body build. Notice I said a fit body build, right? You're like most of the time muscular, but then some women just go for a guy who's just fit. And that's most of the time. And, and that could be football player fit or soccer player fit or basketball player fit. I would say in general, like an athletic body. And that's just from observations. But even then, those guys ain't going to look alike and definitely ain't going to all be the same race. There's going to be different things in there. If she got turned out by some, I don't know, 5'11" dude with a bald head and really like super cut or something, well, shit, that's her preference. But then if she got turned out by some other guy who, a little bit more meat on him, that'll be her preference. Everyone got it. And even someone that somebody considers ugly. I've personally known some very attractive women get with some ugly guys. I personally know it. This ain't no speculation. I've seen it. Because remember, I'm out there. And I'm paying attention. Even after I finish recording this and go out, I'm paying attention to everything I see. And I've seen some women, they've straight up called them gorgeous. Because even though everybody, see, that's one thing. Sometimes it's a situation where she knows he's ugly and, for whatever reason, he wants him. But there's a situation where everybody else think he's ugly and the woman think that's the most gorgeous man she's ever seen in her life. But the bottom line, they have their own preferences. And one thing men need to stop doing, stop telling another man what a woman going to want in him. Like even myself, I say in general body game, but then I've had individuals ask me, well, what do I need to change to get a woman? I say, man, you need to find some women and ask them. I don't know how they see you. And indeed, a lot of times some guys have said they've had trouble and the women saw them as handsome, but it wasn't their preference. Because I'm going to tell you what, here's the thing to understand. Women just don't, when women look at a man, they look at him on multiple levels. See, as men, we'll look at a woman, there's a lot of guys, as long as she got a cute face and decent body, we're good to go as men, as a group. But women, they looking at everything. They looking at his face. They looking at his hair. They looking at his teeth. They looking at his overall body. They looking at how he's dressed. They looking at his mannerisms, how he's behaving. How he carry himself, how he walk. A good walk can make a woman come. And it's like it's multiple factors. You can't you can't say they just want one type. Because look, use some common sense out there. How is it that men who are actually getting women, like in the real world, not some speculation, like I said, I would say this. How many guys who don't believe it actually know some real players? Like in person, that's somebody you've seen online or somebody even on YouTube talking about what they got. Like you've seen it, not even seen pictures. Like you around them, you sat there and watched the woman start twitching her legs when she was looking at the guy. Those type of players, like you out in public and stuff, and the woman going crazy over some guy. She hanging all over, and you're gonna see it's gonna be like different types. And that's just because women got their own preferences. And ultimately, like I said, you might be able to say some general stuff, but every single woman got what they like. And you might have some dude and you looking at him and say, well, how he getting all these women? He don't look like this. He ain't 6'2", all that. He's probably good at he's good at finding his tribe because on a deeper level, and I hit this on my Patreon, on a deeper level, real players know how to find the women who feeling them naturally. So anyway, just understand though, every woman has her own preference. And even, I don't care how hard you try, you're not that particular woman. So you can't. I know some dudes that try to think, oh yeah, that's what that woman wants. No, you're not that woman. You don't have a vagina, and you're not that woman. So I want y'all to keep that in mind. Anyway, that's all I got for now. I'll talk to y'all. Peace and blessings.